What's going on, guys? JPP Duel here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Monday. And for today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the deck list that I use, the new and improved Prank Kids deck list that has allowed me to climb to Diamond 1 on 3 separate accounts this season itself after the release of the Despia pack. Now, this deck has a secret sauce card that I don't know if people are using and abusing in this current meta, but I have used it and abused it and cheesed out a lot, and I mean a lot of wins with that single card. So let's get right into our deck list. As you guys are going to see in the screen right now, this is the deck list that I used to climb to Diamond 1, and let's get the secret sauce out of the way first. The secret sauce is the Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. Now this meta is a Despia heavy meta with the branded fusion coming in, and people are spamming it, abusing it in ranked matches to easily climb to Diamond. People who are not supposed to be in Diamond, who have no reason to be in Diamond, they have no game knowledge, they still end up being in Diamond because of how busted the branded fusion combo is with Despia. So to counteract all that, I decided to take in the card that completely kills their deck. The Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, as I told you guys, this card does a simple thing. It reads, negate all dark monsters effects activated on the field or in the graveyard. That's it. No fancy wording, no big paragraphs to read. This is all it does. And every single monster Despia runs, aside from I believe 2 or 3 are dark monsters, so it kills them off completely. 95% of the time, if you pop this card open and resolves, an opponent has no way to out back row, which generally Despia players, they don't run back row removal, you will just win the game going first. And going second, if you can bait out your opponent's cards and still put this card on the field and resolve it and last another turn, you will win the game. Your opponent will be out of anything. They would not be able to do anything. You will win the game. Now, this does not only apply to Despia. D-Links, Alistair being a dark, Shaddolls, any dark, Access Code, Nightmare, even Adignister, Doyan, any dark monster does end up being negated if it's activated or on the field or in the graveyard. So it's a really busted card you can use and abuse in this meta currently, which I did, and I managed to have a ton of wins because of this single card. Now let's start with the deck list itself. We have 2 copies of DD Crow, again, Despia heavy meta. DD Crow, again, really useful to make the branded in red fizzle out. Whatever they target with branded in red, you target with the DD Crow, and if it resolves, their branded in red fizzles out. So it's still useful against other decks as well. If you can banish a core piece of any deck they put in the graveyard, DD Crow again, extremely good utility right there. Then we have 2 copies of Fansies, 2 Maxi, 3 Dropsies, 1 of the flag, Nemesis flag, and 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Yes, sir, I have bumped up Ash Blossom to 3 again. Branded Fusion is such a busted card. You need to up the Ash. I used to play 2 Ash, I upped it to 3, so that way I draw into it more often to use it to negate the Branded Fusion and hope it resolves. Then we have 3 copies of the Lamseys, 1 of the Enchantress. Yes, 1 Enchantress. I have been playing with 1 Enchantress. I believe I've had close to 120, 130 games with this deck list itself, and it's extremely consistent. Trust me, nothing changes with Enchantress being at 1 for Prank Kids. With 2 copies of Roxy's, 2 of the Nemesis Corridor, 1 of the Griffin, 1 the Aduster, 1 of our Foolish Burial, 1 of our Instant Fusion, 1 of our Thunder Dragon Fusion, 2 Rights, 1 Dracoback, 2 Place, 1 Pranks, 1 Fateful Adventure, 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Pandemonium, 1 Crossout, 1 Forbidden Droplet, 2 Imperm, and at last, the Secret Sauce Shadow Imprisoning Mirror being at 2. Now, if you guys are having problems with consistency, and when I say consistency, I mean if you guys are bricking with your Garnets or not drawing into your Prank Kids combo starter cards, I could even tell you guys can get rid of 2 cards from this deck list. Usually I would get rid of 2 of the Imperms, or maybe even Forbidden Droplet if you don't care about board break. But I have never usually bricked in a row really badly with this deck list. So Imperm, again, in this meta, you need it. If Imperm resolves on the Lubellian, if they don't have Branded Loss active on the field, it's usually the opponent cannot do anything and you secure a win against Branded Despia. It's a really good card to have, so I'm running it. Now, I'm not running a copy of Nib because, again, Branded Despia, they do not push past 5 specials. And especially on ladder right now, I would say 50 to 55% of the ladder is playing Branded Despia, so I'm specifically teching against those decks. There are still people playing Flu, and usually Flu do not push past 5 either, so you cannot nib them. If they have token on the field, you cannot nib them. Sorry, if they have statue on the field, you cannot nib them. So I took out nib completely. I'm playing Imperm over nib at this point, plus the Shadow Imprisoning Mirror and DD Crow. Now let's get on to the extra deck list. We have one of the Rocket Ride, one Weather Washer, one Colossus, one Butler, one Totally Awesome, one Meowmoo, two Doodle-Doo, one Bow Wow, one Predaplant, one Nightmare, one Boral Sword Dragon. Yes, sir, another big change right here in the extra deck list is that I took out the Hida Celine combo. If you guys have looked at my previous deck list video, I used to run the Hida Celine combo because it was extremely busted. It was another line you had to go into your access code, which was extremely busted, and your opponent, sometimes they ash or imprompt the wrong thing thinking you're doing something fancy with it, and it baits out a hand trap or a set down card on the field. So with the Enchantress being at 1, it does take away from the Hida Celine engine. Why does it take away? It's because with the Enchantress being at 2, you could keep one copy in the banishment pile, one in the graveyard, so that you could activate either the Nemesis engine or the Hida Celine combo, with one being in the grave to go into your access code. But the Enchantress being at 1 now means that you could either have Enchantress in the banishment pile or in the graveyard. That means only your Nemesis engine activates or your Hida Celine engine activates, not both simultaneously. Yes, you could still banish it after going into Celine, but it's not that optimal. Again, you need to have 2 to play around all that. So with that being, the Enchantress being at 1, I took away the Hida Celine engine. I put in cards that allow us to push past big monsters on our opponent's side. Boral Sword being a card that allows you to OTK easily and push past big monsters. Then we have one copy of Roaster, one of Access Code, and at last we have one copy of the Underworld Goddess. The reason for the Underworld Goddess is because I was running into D-Links quite often, and if they managed to put Boral and Dragon on the field, just the Prank Kids kit, except for the Dracoback Bounce, cannot go through the Boral and Dragon. So to counteract that, I put in a copy of the Underworld Goddess in my extra deck. Prank Kids can easily generate monsters on the field that are extremely easy to use to go into our Underworld Goddess. So Underworld Goddess takes away unwanted monsters on the field, cards like Boraland, cards like the Ultimate Falcon, cards like the Ignister, Arrival, all those cards, they get taken away with the Underworld Goddess. So really like it running it in my extra deck, and I have used it as well, and people have scooped against me as soon as I take away their Boraland or any monster that they want to keep on the field with the Underworld Goddess. Now, as I told you guys before you end the video, if you click the end of the video, I want to tell you guys, you should never ever copy paste a deck list you guys see anywhere and expect the same results that the person who made the video had with their experience in ranked. Because the draw RNG is different, their game knowledge is different. Like, you could have more game knowledge, sure, but if you're a new player, you have less game knowledge than the person who's making the video, so generally it becomes a disadvantage for you. Also, if you're not a regular Prank Kids player, like I have been playing Prank Kids since season 1 started, so I could say I have almost all the knowledge for Prank Kids, so I could make do with whatever hand I get, and you guys would not even think about doing that combo line as I did to kill the opponent. So again, game knowledge is there, deck list knowledge is there, it makes a difference. So always customize the deck list to your own playstyle, to the meta. So in this meta, it's Despia heavy, Dark heavy, so I'm putting in these 2 cards to counter the meta, right? Always customize the deck list. Do not ever copy paste it, is my message to you, expecting the same results as the person who made the video had. So keep that in mind. Also, I told you guys I have close to 120 games with this deck list on 3 separate accounts that I did hit Diamond 1 with this exact deck list. So the stats are there. I have won around 40% of my coin tosses, and I have won close to 65-68% of my games, even though I lost 70% of my coin tosses. So again, really good. I do urge you guys to try it out, but keep in mind, do customize it to your own needs. That's gonna be it for today's video, excuse me. If you guys do enjoy this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subbing to my channel for more daily prank video uploads, and if you guys are interested in the live version of all of this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule and a link to my Discord will be in the video description and stuff for you guys to check out. This is JPBDuel signing out for today. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace!